Welcome to Plant-Based DFW with Dr. Riz and Maya.
Dr. Bandana Chawla is a board-certified physician in internal medicine and lifestyle medicine. She graduated from UT Southwestern Medical School and completed her residency training at the Texas Medical Center. She has been practicing as an internist in the Houston area for over 20 years. Over the years, she has incorporated the tenets of lifestyle medicine into her practice and has seen her patients lose weight, improve their diabetes, and several other health conditions. Dr. Munish Chawla is a board-certified physician in Diagnostic, Radiology, and Lifestyle Medicine. A longtime practitioner of meditation and yoga, he adopted a plant-based lifestyle in 2013. Upon becoming aware of the research-proven health benefits and evidence-based approach lifestyle medicine uses to treat and reverse chronic diseases, he became certified in this new and exciting specialty. Doctors Munish and Bandana Chawla created their Lifestyle Docs practice, which focuses on eating the right types of food, being fit, reducing stress, and connecting more to achieve holistic wellness. They also founded the Peaceful Planet Foundation, 501c3 nonprofit, which fosters peace, health, and wellness in Houston and the surrounding communities. Today we have Dr. Munish and Dr. Bandana Chawla with us. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for spending some time with us. So just to let the audience know, we are in Houston, and we came to Houston for the weekend to go to the Peaceful Planet Foundation's Wellness Retreat. And then today we're here at their Lifestyle Medicine Center. They gave us a nice little tour. Again, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you visit us in Houston.
Tell us a little bit about your center.
So we just moved in here. It's been over a month now. We moved here because I've been practicing traditional internal medicine for a while, about 20 years. And more I've been talking to patients about lifestyle medicine as well, making some goals and plans for the pillars of lifestyle medicine, which is, of course, nutrition, exercise, stress management, sleep, avoidance of risky behaviors like alcohol and tobacco and drug use, and healthy relationships. What I was realizing is many of my patients were starting to say that, Doc, I get the why, it's the how that's really hard.
Yep.
So then we basically said, okay, we need to help them with the how then. And that's why this lifestyle medicine clinic came into being. And you want to tell what this lifestyle medicine clinic has?
Sure. So I'll give you a little bit of my background. I'm a board-certified radiologist and have been practicing radiology for over 20 years. But, we take walks in the evening. And she would be telling me all these patients that, she switched over to a plant-based diet. They're, getting rid of their diabetes medicine. They're, doing so much better, losing weight without even trying. And I'm, getting encouraged. So I said, I want to be part of this movement also. So we were both kind of studying for lifestyle medicine board exams. Actually, she started studying, and I'm reading the material too because I'm interested in it. So I said, I can do this. So we had no plans of doing anything at this point. So I was going to take the lifestyle medicine board examination. If you're an MD or PhD or nutrition or dietitian, you can get the added certification. So when we got the board certification, my wife and I both passed, so we're happy about that. I know Dr. Rizwan Bukhari is going to be taking his board examination soon, and I know he'll pass.
Yeah, we keep putting that out there, so I better pass.
And he'll pass with flying colors, I'm certain of it. So once we got the certification, like now what do we do? So Bandana, wants to move further. She's got her medical clinic. She's got interested patients who get the reason, why do we need to, change our diet, change our lifestyle, incorporate other healthful behaviors, but they're having trouble with how to get there. So this is when we kind of start talking about the new clinic. And so long story short, I am transitioning out of radiology, and I'll be in the new space with her doing this lifestyle clinic. And in our space, we have a wonderful area. It's a small space where we can do yoga classes, meditation classes, screenings for movies. We have a small kitchen. We can do cooking demos, group potlucks, group discussion, group support sessions. So we wanted to create this space to have really a community come and learn from each other, and we provide some tools and guidance. So everybody grows in this, healthful, wonderful, behavior that everybody gets healthy together.
So you might say then that the way you design the clinic is it's able to address the lifestyle medicine concepts more fully than a traditional internal medicine practice.
Absolutely. One, it provides the community because it really does help to have other people who are on the same path with us. Really helps to see other patients who are also trying to eat this way, who are also trying to improve their health. One of my patients said it really helps to have people who are ahead of us on this path that we can look up to.
Yeah, for guidance.
And
sure.
also helps to have people behind us who are looking up to us, who we are trying to, so we try to do better because we know they're looking up to us, right? So we're trying not to let them down.
It keeps us accountable.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very
So
good.
forming that community is something that we really want in lifestyle medicine clinic. And the other thing, like I said, is the how. The how that's so hard for people. So now they can come to cooking classes and learn the how of cooking and how to make these healthy foods themselves, because so many people in this society have actually never cooked. They've always picked up fast food and eaten out. Now they can learn the how of meditation, the how of yoga, and all of that stuff.
Wonderful, wonderful. I understand that before you were fully plant-based, you were vegan for several years.
Yeah.
Tell us about your journey.
Sure. So I had been, you call it midlife crisis or call it, wanting to do something else. I wanted to go to a meditation course. And I finally picked out one, after doing some research in Google, that this is the one I want to go to. So this was a 10-day silent retreat.
Wow.
And I told this to my wife, and at this time our kids are 9 and 10 or around.
I don't know, but I was taking care of his father and his mother and the 2 kids, and I said, no, not yet.
Not yet.
We're not going out because 10 days I can't even call him if I have any issue.
Because he's not going to talk to you.
Right. So this
Can you
is-
text on a silent retreat?
You
No.
put away your phone in a locker.
Oh, wow.
You
Right.
get it 10 days later.
Yes, so you have to put away all communication with the outside world. You can't even bring any book with you.
Wow.
So you're just there by yourself, and there's other, people who are wanting to learn meditation. We do immersions in plant-based world, but this is immersion into the meditation world. They really want you to really experience it. So, but then, we made some time. So the following year, in August of 2012, I got a chance to go. So, at that time, I didn't think much of it. I just wanted something to maybe, help with stress, maybe anxiety, just kind of feeling a little bit better. Everybody always mentions that meditation is good for you. It's good for the body, good for the mind, good for the spirit. So I've always been kind of interested in it. So I didn't have any big things that anything was going to come of it. But looking back, this is what started everything. So I came back. Before I went to the retreat, I was an omnivore. I was eating everything. I had stopped eating beef, but I was still eating fish and chicken. And especially I loved seafood.
Because you thought that's healthier than eating beef, right? Is that
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Also the taste.
Also the taste. I mean, seafood is my favorite thing. So, when we go to a sushi place, Bandana would get vegetarian sushi. She's a lifelong vegetarian, but she never really made me uncomfortable that why you're eating that. So we've been married at this point about
20. Oh, at that point, 15 years.
15 years. But when I came back from the retreat, something clicked. And one of the things they said is everything that we respond to in our world is temporary sensations. So why do we want to harm another living creature for, just a temporary sensation of it tasting good? And it's less than a second that the food is on your tongue, that you
Right.
actually taste it.
Yeah.
And so something just clicked. And when I came back from this retreat, I had, become vegetarian.
Was it a vegan vegetarian retreat?
It was a vegetarian retreat.
Yeah. Where was it?
It was in Dallas,
okay.
actually, Kaufman.
Near Dallas.
And they have 20 centers around U.S. that you can do this retreat in.
Okay.
So when I came back, I said I'm not going to have any, meat or fish or anything like that. But I didn't tell her. Sometimes you get real excited. You're kind of, thinking, okay, this is the new me. Then life happens, and you kind of revert back to your old habits. But after, a few weeks, we had gone out to a restaurant a couple of times, and instead of ordering, salmon or shrimp or something, I was getting something that was vegetarian. So she brought it up with me, says, I'm noticing that you didn't get that. That I told her, I'm not going to eat that way again. So this is when so I became vegetarian in August of 2012. And then we started doing research that if we're really doing this for compassion, that there's more cruelty in the dairy industry than there is in the livestock or meat industry. So if we're really doing this from a non-harming, non-violent standpoint, we need to go all the way. So I'll let you pick up from there.
Yeah, so he became vegetarian in August, and then the universe just kept sending me vegan and plant-based patients.
Really?
And at first, kind of ignored it, said, good for you. Nobody wants to change. Good that your diabetes is better, and good that you're off your asthma inhalers. Well, I don't have those problems anyways, right? So I don't need to do anything about it. But it just kept happening. And he was going through reflections as well, and he had made some kind of a comment saying that all these years, if you've been vegetarian for non-violence and compassion reasons, shouldn't you be a vegan instead? And then I was like, oh yeah, when the kids go off to college, maybe I'll become a vegan then. But since the patients started coming, they started educating me. Finally, I started asking them. First, I wasn't even ready to ask them, what made you go vegan, right? Because I wasn't ready. So when I started getting curious and started asking them, they started telling me about the ethical aspects, the health aspects, and the environmental aspects. And then we started doing our own research. And then we said, okay, January 1st, let's try transitioning towards a vegan diet. That May of 2013, I was going to turn 40. So we said, okay, we'll try, and then by May, if things are going well, for my 40th birthday, I'll become a vegan. But then, during January, things were going so well. It wasn't hard. We were feeling better. We were doing the 21-day kickstart and other things and getting emails every day about stuff, and then still finding out even more stuff about dairy and other things, to where we both kind of said, let's not wait that long. I don't want to wait till May. So February 1st, 2013 is our official vegan anniversary.
All right.
So we celebrate our marriage anniversary and our vegan anniversary.
Oh my goodness! Congratulations.
Well, that's great.
Thank you.
And then okay, so that was your journey to becoming vegan, and then there was another journey to becoming fully whole food plant based.
Yes.
And so what about that?
So that started happening actually because again, patients they're so good about educating their doctors.
I'm going to interrupt and say, well, did you notice any changes physically or the way you felt just from the transition from you, Munish, being a meat eater to going vegetarian and then vegan, and then you were vegetarian to going vegan? Did you notice anything at that point?
Some, not a lot.
So nothing real tangible?
Nothing real tangible.
For me, there was.
Okay. But, for me, it wasn't like we were eating, meat or fish or chicken or fish every day. It was a occasional weekend thing. So if we didn't go out, at home, we were vegetarian. And I don't like dairy, just the taste, very much. So I don't drink milk. I liked yogurt and, and paneer, which is an Indian style of cheese. I like those sort of things. But we wouldn't be having it very much.
Okay.
I'll tell you the 3 things that improved for me. My migraines went away.
Oh, wow.
I have not had a migraine since I've been vegan. 2, my menstrual cramps went away. 3, my allergies got better, and I got off of nasal spray. I still have to take Zyrtec. They didn't get all the way better. So I still take my Zyrtec at bedtime, but I no longer take Flonase nasal spray that I had to take for a decade. I was able to get off of that. And actually, my fibrocystic disease of breast got better as well.
Yeah.
Because so much of this is hormonally related.
Exactly.
And I didn't know it was hormonally
Right, and
related.
a lot of hormones in the milk and dairy things,
Absolutely.
right?
And with the breast, did you notice the difference from just doing checks or the pain? Because sometimes we feel pain.
The pain, because I would have pain during ovulation and right before the periods. I haven't had it since.
That's incredible, because I too also notice less cramping. So as someone who suffered for many years with pain, and I didn't really consume much dairy, but just when I cleaned up my diet in general, epidural, the pain went away.
You know, I often point out, and this is kind of a reference to the documentary Forks Over Knives, where there was that one individual that they were working on who had 27 complaints,
Yeah.
and 3 major health complaints, I think: hypertension, diabetes, and the weight. Or it might maybe the cholesterol. And so the doctor was going to work on the major complaints, but when he came back for his follow-up,
Yeah.
26 of the 27 complaints were gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things are things like you said, like the allergies, nasal congestion, maybe in women the fibrocystic things, menstrual cramps, the things that we kind of just think we have to live with because they're a part of our lives.
Oh, that reminded me of another thing. It's 5 things now. Okay, my skin. My skin cleared up. I've had this issue with rosacea for
Yeah.
a long time,
Wow.
and that is no longer an issue.
So it's fascinating. We might be focusing on these major medical issues, but there's a whole lot of other things that kind of happen. And you just reminded me of something. It wasn't until a few weeks ago that I realized my allergies cleared up around the time I went plant-based. They've been better for the last few years. I didn't make the connection until I looked at the time frame. I used to take Advil regularly for headaches, and I don't get headaches anymore. If I get a headache, it's an unusual thing. So now you've reminded me that that's cleared up too.
Yeah.
And so in terms of your transition then from just being vegan to cleaning up your diet even more, how did that come about?
Go from vegan to plant-based.
So-
Okay, so again, the patients, I was seeing the health benefits in them. And then I started getting asked to give talks by Vegan Society of Peace and other places just because I was a doctor and a vegan. They wanted me to come give talks about the health benefits. And then when I did the research to give those talks, then it made more sense to do that. And also it became, well, if I'm preaching this, then I need to practice it.
So I mean, we sort of transitioned from from a vegan diet, which was not high in processed foods, but we were eating some mock meats, we were eating occasional cookies and those sort of things, desserts and that sort of thing. And so in terms of I didn't feel a great big change going from a mostly vegetarian, occasional fish and chicken diet to a vegetarian diet or even to a vegan diet. But when we switched from that sort of eating pattern to a whole foods eating diet, which is now we're 90 to 95% whole foods. Unless eating out in restaurants where there's not an option, at home we eat whole grains, lots of vegetables, green smoothie every day. This is when I noticed the health improvements. This is when my skin cleared up. I stopped having headaches. My allergies haven't gotten all the way better, but they've gotten significantly better. I used to take Clarinex, which is a lot stronger than Claritin. So at one point I was doing Claritin, then I added the nasal inhaler, then I added Clarinex, and then I started, taking things away. So the Clarinex is gone, nasal inhaler is gone. I just have to take Claritin now. So things are slowly, getting better in that sense. And this is something that I didn't think would ever help. But going from a relatively healthy vegan diet, we weren't like processed food junkies, we would eat those stuff occasionally, but obviously enough of them. And going sugar-free for the most part and oil-free for the most part, that's when, and I didn't think this would even help, but I have a mild case of inflammatory bowel disease that I've had for 20 years, and I get, attacks every now and then. But that has completely gone away. I am off of all medications. I am able to eat more variety of foods and fruits and nuts and seeds and whole grains and broccoli and kale that I actually didn't eat these foods before because my system couldn't handle them. It was too much fiber for me to be able to digest them. But now I eat these foods on a regular basis and I'm medication free and I feel better now at age 53 than I did at age 43.
Wow. You said it was IBD, what you had. How long did it take for that to clear or to improve?
It took almost a year.
Yeah.
So, the thing that helped me were the green smoothies. And initially, my wife is wonderful. She makes green smoothie for us every morning. And before I could, that has kale, Swiss chard, and spinach, but I couldn't tolerate these things. So what she did was she steamed these greens so that way I could, tolerate them. And slowly, over 6 to 9 months, I was kind of reducing the medication. And finally, at the end of the year, I was feeling so good, I just stopped them. You know, my GI guy is not happy with me, but it's over 18 months that I'm off of any medications, eating better.
Why is it the doctor's always unhappy when you're cured and want to get off the medication? I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, I have a patient who cholesterol is completely normal. It's less than 150.
Yeah.
And she wanted to stop her statin, but the
Right.
doctor told her she still had to take it. It was the diet that brought it down, not the statin.
Yeah.
So the
and-
steaming the greens helps.
Right. So
process?
back when he had mild ulcerative colitis, the GI doctor told him not to do raw, and his stomach told him not to do raw. You know,
Yeah.
it wouldn't suit him.
Right.
So I would steam the greens and then make the green smoothie. But after a few months of that, you were like, I think I can do raw. So now he does everything raw. Now he eats a lot of raw food, and it's not a problem.
Right, and that's something I haven't been able to do for over 25 years.
Isn't that fascinating,
You know,
huh?
eat raw greens and...
Yeah, we used to joke that he's a vegan who never eats a salad.
I wanted to bring up one more point that you mentioned, Dr. Bandana, and it's that you had patients who were already vegan and plant-based. And something that has intrigued me about the population here in Houston is how many people actually are vegan or plant-based.
Is it the ethnic diversity, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps, yeah.
Perhaps. And I think a lot of times, you know, when they see this is a vegan doctor and they see that on, if they're searching for it in Google or other places, maybe that's serving as a self-selecting, you know, that
Yeah.
patient is sort of
Yeah.
interested in seeking out this physician. So she may be getting those types of patients
Yeah.
more than, you know, if
Yes.
you were to sample people in general. So, you know, we're still in the heart of Texas. There's probably a barbecue place not too far from here.
Right.
But you're right. There are more and more people who
Oh,
are
yeah.
open to this idea. They've heard of whole food plant-based. They've heard of the term vegan. Somebody they know in their family is vegan or plant-based. So it's growing. And, you know, maybe Houston has a slight, you know, lead at this point. But I think Dallas is going to catch up. It's
Sure.
just spreading like wildfire everywhere. And we're
Yes.
all happy about that.
So one of the first talks that we saw you give when Earthling Ed came and did his Texas tour,
Yeah.
you want to tell us what that was like for you?
I think that was on just kind of plant-based nutrition 101 kind of thing, telling people about the China study and Esselstyn's research.
Right, so they wanted to have an event that, you know, Earthling Ed would obviously talk about the ethical aspects. And they wanted, you know, a physician also, because, you know, sometimes people say, well, you know, that's great, this helps the animal, but what does it do for me?
Yes.
So they wanted to have to round out the evening with having an expert talk about nutrition, that this is really not just the best way for us to lead our lives in terms of, you know, being good to the environment, being good to the animals. This is actually the best food for us.
For our own health, for
For
our
our
own
health.
body. Yeah.
So I think that's when they invited you.
Right. So,
Right. Very good.
So we started by saying we were here for your retreat.
Yeah.
And so you guys have something called the Peaceful Planet Foundation.
So this is just something, you know, I think I didn't believe all of this maybe 20 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago. It's just that the universe just kind of sends you signals, and we're all sometimes too busy to really pay attention, or we just don't have the time, we're so distracted. And I think this sort of gets attributed to just me starting meditation after that retreat. And things just worked out in such a way that the group that I was working with for over 20 years, a larger company bought us out, and we all got a little lump sum. And, you know, instead of, you know, we're thinking, you know, instead of giving the lump sum and the extra money to the IRS, why don't we do something useful with it? You know, we're always, you know, wanting to do something that's gonna, you know, further, you know, we're always been interested in, you know, meditation, yoga, and plant-based nutrition. So maybe we can form something that'll help this, and, you know, that way we can kind of set the money aside. That way we don't have to think about the money. Okay, it's already set aside, and then the financial aspect is taken care of. So this is how it happened. We had no grand plan that we're going to have this foundation. Just the universe just made things available to us that, you know, you do this. So I have this thought, and I talked to Bandana, and she goes, yeah, that's a great idea. So we're just, you know, in our evening walks, we talk about these things. So that was the inception of Peaceful Planet.
It's a lovely name. I
We
love
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
I think
Thank you.
yesterday's closing statement was the perfect statement to close off the day with caring for the planet, for the environment, and for ourselves, and really just reminding us that we all are one and we affect one another. I thought it was a beautiful message.
Oh, thank you very much. And that's the message, both of us want to get to the outside world. That, when you have that connection with your own true self, with your community, with your friends and neighbors, and, you can, with that connection, you can really heal yourself and the people around you. And when you have this community like you saw yesterday, everybody at the retreat, they were all volunteers. You guys drove from Dallas to, give this wonderful nutrition talk that was, people were so complimentary of
Thank you.
Your talk. So thank you very much for coming and participating.
Well, my pleasure. It was an honor to be included. I think.
Yeah, no, that's just everybody who was there, they were just very giving and wanted to help get this message out that, with this way of eating, with this way of changing your lifestyle, that you can heal yourself, you can heal your community, and, who doesn't want a peaceful world?
Sure.
We all do, and we sometimes get confused on what's the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
And, we haven't figured out anything yet. We're just kind of along the journey that let's see if we, making these changes, making these diet changes, they're good for us, they're good for the animals, they're good for the environment. If we can get enough people to kind of follow this way, let's see if we can make some progress in just having a peaceful, healthy, sustainable world.
Definitely.
And so I know you guys are involved in varying levels with a few different documentaries. Can you tell us about that?
So there are two of them that are coming out soon that we're involved in, and one of them is the Land of Ahimsa. Ahimsa, by the way, it means nonviolence and compassion. That is the teaching taught by a lot of the Eastern religions, including Buddhism and Hinduism. And so the Land of Ahimsa is being done by a friend of ours named Dolly Ahuja, who is trying to make Indians, so Land of Ahimsa is regarding India, aware of the fact that many of them feel like they are practicing nonviolence by being vegetarians, but there is so much violence and misery and suffering in the dairy industry. And that is her goal, to make people aware of that. And so we are being interviewed as physicians who are saying dairy is not needed for your health. Actually, it's harmful for your health, and not eating dairy will do your body good.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you mean by violence when you're only consuming dairy?
I get a little emotional about this. So first of all, I was a biology major as undergraduate. Never made the connection that cows, like all other mammals, are only going to give milk if they've just had a baby. I've only given milk twice in my life for my 2 kids that I've had, and it's the true for all other mammals, including cows, right? So there was, I don't know why, I think it's the cultural indoctrination.
We don't think about these things.
Right.
We're not encouraged to consider those things.
Yeah.
In India, when I was a little girl, so I was in India till age 11, and then we moved here. I remember writing essays on how cows are so important and how they give us milk and how we're grateful that they give us milk. So I just thought they just give us milk, right? They just all the time produce it. That's what they do. But no, so if they only give milk when they just had a baby, then 2 things have to be done. One, they have to be impregnated over and over again. Not in the natural way that they would get pregnant, but in a way that it keeps happening way more than she would naturally have the number of babies. We're going to have her have way more babies. And 2, the babies are going to need to be taken away. Because in today's world of big corporations, why are they going to lose any profit on having that baby drink any of the milk that can be sold for profit? So that was a big thing to find out that, basically, 1, the cows have to be raped over and over again, and 2, they have to be separated, and the calf, if it's a male calf, is going to become veal, and if it's a female calf, is going to have the same life of misery and suffering that her mother had, and is just going to be fed soy, corn, GMO stuff instead of milk to make her grow up enough to reproductive age, so then we can exploit her for milk as well. So finding all that out was like, no, I have kids of my own. I am a mother myself. I am not doing this to another mother.
You also talked about the health aspects, another reason why we shouldn't be consuming milk.
Dairy in general, acne is a big thing, mucus and allergies is a big thing. IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, is increased and is naturally there in dairy as well. And this is a hormone that causes cancer cells and everything else to grow. It increases metastases of cancer if you already have it. And dairy is basically liquid meat. So in every which way, chemically, structurally, when you look at it, it's high in cholesterol like meat. It's high in saturated fat like meat. It's got no fiber. It's nothing like a plant. It's in every way like meat. So it's going to have the same bad effects on heart disease. It's going to have the same bad effects on cancer. In some ways, in certain cancers, dairy is actually worse than meat. Breast cancer, for instance, the cancers that are hormonally related, because dairy is so high in hormones. And again, it's because the cow is just given birth. So she naturally has a lot of hormones right now, and they come out in milk. So even if you're drinking organic milk, it's still very high in estrogen. Definitely, if you're drinking regular milk, she's given so many extra hormones that it's even higher.
But basically dairy, you have all the harmful effects of it being an animal product. Like you mentioned, it has IGF-1, causes cholesterol. But dairy also has a lot of proteins, animal protein, which are very immunogenic, which means they really increase the inflammation in our body. So with that, folks like little kids that we're all told to after they're weaned from their mom's milk, breast milk, that to put them on dairy milk. I mean, that's literally responsible for most of the kids getting repeated ear infections and getting ear tubes. And now we're finding out that getting repeated course of antibiotics that, that they never would have needed, never would have gotten the ear infection had they been taken off of dairy, that's, doing harm to their microbiome, to the friendly bacteria in their gut. So there's long-term consequences that, once your microbiome is bad, you're more susceptible to other diseases. So all this starts with the inflammation and the extra immunogenicity of animal protein. It causes so much inflammation. I mean, dermatologists have started recommending stop doing dairy because,
Because of the acne?
Because of the acne, exactly.
There's some kind of nascent or early research now showing that early exposure in infancy to dairy may be one of the causative factors of type 1 diabetes.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's as an autoimmune disorder.
Right, absolutely. Again, it's that, the inflammatory process with the foreign proteins that it contains. I mean, cow's milk is perfect for the baby calf. That's what it's designed for. The protein ratio, the cholesterol ratio, everything is optimized to turn, a 70-pound calf to a 500-pound, cow in 1 year. I mean, that's not the physique we want. We don't want to grow by 8 folds in 1 year. And breast milk, which is what the human babies need, it's has much lower protein, has less cholesterol, and the protein it has is appropriate. It doesn't cause the inflammatory reaction in our body that the cow's milk does.
Yeah.
But you're right, in our culture, and especially in our Indian culture, dairy is so revered. And I get it from a historical context. Few hundred years ago, certainly a few thousand years ago, when things were much more scarce. You had nothing else that you could turn to. If the crops failed, those households who had a cow, they survived. It was an alternate way of feeding yourself.
Yeah, from a pure volume perspective, it might have been an occasional thing.
Right.
Just like in the past, meat was an occasional thing for humans.
Right.
But not something that they drank 3 or 4 glasses of a day.
Yeah, it wasn't, and it was out of necessity. They didn't have any other options. It was just one thing that they were, we were eating whatever it took to keep us alive. And so people point, and we've been eating dairy for generations, it hasn't harmed us. yet they have family history of diabetes, they're overweight, they're getting breast cancer, and they think this is just normal aging.
Yeah.
Well, this is not normal aging. Indians are roughly, especially in the villages, are eating a diet that's relatively similar to rural folks in China. It's predominantly a plant-based diet. But what's different in India is they're including dairy in that diet, whereas in China, in the rural places, they don't have dairy. And guess who gets the breast cancer? Guess who's more obese? It's the Indian counterparts, yet they are, very similar otherwise in their diet. So all this epidemic of, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, especially hormonally sensitive cancers, like breast cancer, uterine cancer, ovarian cancer.
Prostate cancer,
Prostate cancer, thank you. These are, dairy is like fuel. This is like steroids to make your cancer grow, make it metastasize, even the inception of cancer, before your immune system can get rid of it. It just serves as, like lighter fluid on a gasoline. When you have these things, and we're all forming cancer cells at any time, you want your immune system to get rid of them, not give them growth fluid as you do with dairy.
Well, this documentary needs to happen, and we could tell that Dolly was very passionate about her vision.
Yeah.
If people want to support this film, how can they do so?
So
She has a GoFundMe page, the Land of Ahimsa. So if you go to GoFundMe and put in Land of Ahimsa, then you can definitely. And also you can spread the word on Facebook and Instagram and social media about.
Google Land of Ahimsa, her website will come up and they'll take you, from there to the GoFundMe page.
Right.
So Facebook, Google, GoFundMe, any of those things. Will
And
get
Dr. Riz is also going to be in that documentary
Yes.
with us.
Yeah.
If I said anything intelligent, maybe she'll include it.
Yeah.
So we saw
That's
that you were recently promoting the film in California, I think in LA. You had sort of an event there?
Yeah, Dolly had an event there, and she wanted us there on the panel as one of the physicians.
Yeah.
So she wanted to attract some donors,
some
a little
fundraising.
fundraising, and she wanted to have some physicians
Yeah.
there.
Well, we
So
definitely wish you guys a lot of success, and the film itself a lot of success.
Yeah.
You're also members of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. Dr. Bandana recently was also involved in sort of a, I don't know if you call it a silent protest at Baylor about the animal testing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're big fans of PCRM.
Right.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah. So there have actually been 3 projects that I've done with them. One of them is to get stop animal testing in the emergency program at Montgomery County paramedic program. The other is to get McDonald's out of Bentop Hospital. And the third was Baylor stopping for their emergency residents, the residency program for emergency medicine doctors, stopping using animals for that training. And now, fourth one is coming up where we're trying to get Chick-fil-A out of Texas Children's Hospital. I don't know, PCRM just sent me an email. So I'll be going to another protest later in October for them for that.
So, have you made any headway with those projects?
So McDonald's is out of Bentop.
Wow.
Yes.
Baylor did stop
Amazing.
using animals in that program. So far, all 3 have been successes.
That's incredible.
So we hope
Yeah.
Texas Children's
So for
Hospital.
those who are not in the Houston area, Bentop Hospital is the largest county hospital in Harris County.
It's like
So-
Parkland in
Yes.
Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Well, when I was in school at Parkland, there was a McDonald's in
There
Parkland.
was. That was the most selling McDonald's in the country. Do
Yes,
you remember
yes,
that? Yeah.
yes. It was one of the busiest ones in the country. I remember that.
Wow.
I even stood in line there
Oh, I have
with
too.
with my patients with their IV pole and in their gown with the back open. I couldn't believe it. Patients would literally come downstairs, buy McDonald's, and go back up to their room.
Yep,
You know?
yep. That's gone too. That's one of the things we used in the argument to get it out of Bentop, that McDonald's, that Parkland now has a healthier option.
Dr. Munish, you were just kind of explaining the Bentop.
So, they've had this McDonald's for a long time. And, I guess they have the leasing from the hospital. It comes up every 3 years. So PCRM contacted us that would you be willing to talk to the board who considers, who's going to get the space? Is McDonald going to get their renewal in space? And usually it's just they have a public hearing for these things, but it's sort of a formality. They invite people from the community, but they don't really invite them. They kind of do the minimum that
They
they
give them
have to.
3 minutes.
Yeah. But PCRM, obviously, they're on top of it. I mean, this is what they do. They're on top of their game.
They're amazing,
So
aren't they?
they are. So we had no idea about this. They contacted us saying, this hearing is coming up. Would you speak? I mean, I was busy, but my wife was there.
I ended up going twice to
Yeah.
give 3 minutes each time.
Good for you.
About that.
Yeah. So
And they help you. They even send you
Yeah.
a script, and then you can correct it, and you can edit
Yeah,
it.
they coach you because I mean we're
Yeah.
not used to talking in front of the media.
And
It's like
when you were there, were there other people speaking out against it?
No, of course not.
So the other ones that you heard speaking were
Well,
just
there were
kinda-
other things on the
Oh,
agenda as well. So
okay.
other people were talking about other issues. Yeah, but I was the only one talking about McDonald's.
Yeah.
they listened.
Something happened.
And we saw you were featured in PCRM's magazine, The Good Medicine, as a result of that, of your
Yeah.
efforts and your work.
Yeah.
PCRM is extremely active
Yes.
in all of this. I think sometimes people think it's only, geared towards nutrition and medicine, but really it's about being a very strong voice for the animals, but also advocating for patients. And we talked about how even at your hospital, Dr. Riz, we would like to see changes happen
Yeah.
so that we can have better options for the patients as well.
Yeah, I had been behind the scenes working with our nutrition services to start offering some more healthy options, both to the physicians and to the patients. And now, unfortunately, they're changing the company.
You have to start
Yeah,
over.
so I have to start all over again.
Yeah, and I'm
know.
trying to work with the hospital that I go to, trying to get healthier options, more plant-based options. And they're open to a certain extent, but I'll take any progress, if they will take away bacon and maybe substitute it with turkey bacon, or any little thing, if they'll add more fruit, for the morning, it's not just sausage, bacon, if they'll add some fruit. So any little progress that we can make, I'm happy to make. But this is a issue with all of us in the healthcare industry, that it's hard to move big corporations, hard to move big players who have a vested interest in the status quo.
It's interesting that we call it the healthcare industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it really was a healthcare industry, then
Right.
they'd be interested in serving more healthy food choices.
Yes, yes.
But it's not about healthcare; it's about making money.
Right, it's a
Yeah.
sick care industry, and like you said, there's a lot of profit to be made from a lot of drug companies and different folks.
Yeah, and I don't know that they're necessarily trying to make their patients sick by feeding them food, but
Right.
they want their patients to be happy.
I mean, there's a lot of factors, but sometimes it becomes an uphill battle. But what's encouraging is there's so many grassroots efforts happening in Dallas, happening in various suburbs of Dallas, in Houston, and various places, that everyone's doing their job of making other people aware that this is the eating the whole food, plant-based way. This diet and lifestyle is what's sustainable, what's good for us, good for our health, health of our planet, and it's also a compassionate way to eat. Helps you in mind, body, and spirit. So it's just lovely to see this explosion of grassroots movement in every corner of our nation. So
Yeah.
it's really
Couldn't have said it
encouraging.
better. And that's where it has to start, really,
Yeah.
with the people. I don't think it's going to come from the top down. It's going to have to come from the bottom and go up.
We're so grateful for what you guys are doing,
Yes.
spreading this message in Dallas, doing these podcasts, doing community events on a regular basis. This is what it's going to take to turn the tide, and I think we're slowly making progress.
Well, I would like to say that you guys have been a lot of inspiration to us. We've learned a lot from you, and hopefully we feed off of each other. And
Absolutely.
we've learned a lot from you.
It's
So,
definitely true. Vice versa as well.
This works both ways, and you guys are truly inspiring.
Well,
So-
thank you. I've been here now, we were calculating 4, 5, maybe 6 times I've driven down because of you guys.
Aw.
For events that you've done.
this year.
This year,
Oh, yeah.
just in the short amount of time, we were familiar with the work that you were doing last year, but because of what you're doing now, I've invited my sister, she's invited coworkers, she's invited friends, so I came down for Code Blue, I came down for the Houston Veg Fest, but I knew you guys would have a booth there,
Yeah.
so I wanted to stop by and say hello. But the impact that you have had just through my own family and my sister's friends has been incredible. And the Code Blue movie that you screened really touched my sister. She brought a coworker to that one.
Oh, she was looking great, by the way. I didn't get a chance to talk to her yesterday, but it seems like she's been eating more plant-based. She was looking good.
I even found out, she didn't tell me, but she's part of another Facebook group that's whole food plant-based.
Oh,
That's
wonderful.
awesome.
And her friend was like, "Is that your sister's group?" She's like, "No, it's another group." It's like, "Oh, so you're secretly going to other groups and learning."
She's cheating on her.
She's taking initiative on her own.
Yeah, but isn't that wonderful?
It's absolutely incredible.
That's one thing you're okay with her cheating.
Yeah. So, and now you're walking with the community. You're part of Walk with a Dog.
So August, we started Walk with a Doc, which is this national program, and I believe you guys do it as well. And I really think it's wonderful because you get to check off 3 lifestyle medicine boxes while doing that, right?
Yes.
You get to check off exercise, you get to check off being outdoors in nature, and you get to check off community. So it's a great way to take care of many things all together, and even education, like patients get to learn a little something about certain topic. So this month, for instance, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I have a OB-GYN, actually the one you met yesterday, Dr. Nancy Erickson, will be coming as the guest speaker, and she'll be talking about breast cancer at our Walk with a Doc, which is going to be next Saturday, October 12th.
The Peace and Wellness retreat that you had yesterday, was that funded through your foundation?
Right.
Yes.
Like I mentioned, so we had set aside some money for that, and we do ask for a donation for the wellness retreat. But if people are not able to pay, or they want to pay less, we never turn anyone down. Our main message is to get people more aware, so they can choose a healthier and compassionate lifestyle for themselves, and then they can spread it to their own friends and family and community. So, but yet it's funded through our nonprofit Peaceful Planet Foundation.
And if people want to
That's
donate
wonderful.
to your foundation, can they?
Yes, it's a 501c3 organization. So we purposely made it an operating foundation. One, because we wanted to do the work of getting the message out there, and wanted to fund these events, where we organize retreats and other events during the year. So, don't have to worry about the money. So that way it's set aside, it's in the bank. Whenever we need to use it, this is the purpose of it.
The retreat itself was very organized. It was well attended. The breakout sessions, at least from my perspective, worked out nicely. So congratulations on having such a wonderful retreat.
Thank you. I mean, it's folks like you that make it successful. We had Dr. Rizwan Bukhari he was the keynote speaker to start off the retreat. And we had, wonderful people who were just open and giving, not just who were presenting the retreat, but people who were attending. So it was just a wonderful atmosphere.
And it's nice because things just come together. Like people come to us and they just tell us, "Oh, I can offer this or I can offer this," and we're like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah,
We'll
people
add
would
that next
probably
year."
like that."
Yeah.
Like Patricia, I think is going to
Yes.
come next year and do a food demo too, because
Right.
this year Carolina's food demo was the first thing to fill up.
Yeah.
So
People
were
really wanna
complaining that they
learn
wanted
how-
to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
We had a waiting list for her class.
If people want to know about your events and what you're doing next, how can they find out more?
So if they want to know about, our nonprofit events, they can go to our website. They can just Google Peaceful Planet Foundation, or it's peacefulpf.org, and we're also on Facebook and Instagram. And then, the other community events we do is through our for-profit, which is our new lifestyle clinic, and that's Lifestyle Docs. And they can Google Lifestyle Docs, or it's lifestyledocs.com, and they'll let them know about, when's the next cooking class at our clinic, when are we going to do yoga classes, meditation classes.
And lifestyledocs.com also has a Facebook page and Instagram page, so
Okay.
they can follow us there
Yes.
as
That's
well.
a lot of websites and social media to keep up to date, right?
It is. We're actually gonna get help because it's getting
Yeah,
a little
lot.
bit
It's getting,
getting unmanageable.
Are you currently taking patients now, new patients?
We are taking new patients. Yes.
Yeah, especially those who are interested in changing their diet and lifestyle, and then want to,
Yeah.
who are not interested in a pill for every ill. They want to heal themselves,
Yeah.
and this is the way. We think this is the right way, and we're finding more and more people.
Yeah, I think there's a
agree
lot
with
of
us.
people who would like to change their lives and get off medications
Yeah.
and be healthy.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on this new practice.
We're so fortunate to be in this space, and we're looking forward to the next part of the journey.
Yeah.
And we're so happy that we have both of you guys as our friends and allies on this path and on this journey.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. Thank you for listening in.
You've been listening to Dr. Riz and Maya with Plant-Based DFW.